All right, guys, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I just kind of thought of this because I had this sort of like thirst lately to like reorganize my kit, my makeup, and really in the past, like I would say 6 months to a year, I've really been doing a lot of decluttering, and I've really been trying to like simplify and just kind of like only carry and only retain and keep in my house the makeup that I need, like both for myself and for the work that I do as a makeup artist. And I noticed, like, when I first started working as a makeup artist, I thought I had to have every color. I thought I had to have every product. I would bring so much stuff with me. And then shortly, I realized that 9 times out of 10, I'm usually using neutrals, and I'm doing looks not necessarily that they're basic, but the color selection, it doesn't really stray that far from a handful of neutrals, some shimmers. You know, you need a dark brown, you need a black, you need a light color, you know, it's just like, it's very basic. And I think that we get caught in this sort of idea that you have to have everything, or like, what if somebody wants the specific blue eyeshadow? There was one time in my career that I needed blue eyeshadow, and that was for a fashion show. So it doesn't come up very often. Like sometimes if I know it's going to be like a younger client, or I know it's going to be like the second look for a bat mitzvah, and I know like the girl's dress is like bright turquoise or purple, I'll probably bring some colorful eyeshadows with me, because a lot of times, you know, these 13-year-old girls, that's what they're looking for. But 9 times out of 10, my clients want something neutral. Sometimes it's natural looking, sometimes it's way more bold, but you can do that with neutral shadows. It's all the way you do it. So my point being is that I amassed this like really large collection of some really funky colors, and then I never really used them. So either I passed them on, or they got old and I threw them out, or I just kind of like, I don't know, I just kind of like Marie Kondo'd them out of my life. And I really haven't looked back. If I need like a bright blue eyeshadow, I have a couple of colorful palettes, like the Jaclyn Hill palette that she did with Morphe, like the first one in the white. That's a good colorful palette. I have the Colored Rain pressed pigments, so I know I've got that if I need it. So with those two things, I can pretty much create any color that I need. And I'm actually going to get that Makeup Forever Flash palette. If you're a makeup artist, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you might have no idea what I'm talking about. So that, again, I feel like it'll just kind of like in this small palette of all these colors, like I'll be able to pretty much do whatever I want. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's really cool, and I'm like really excited to get it and play with it. But I'm getting it not because I need it necessarily, but because I kind of just want to play and like see how this thing works. And I never really had the guts to, I just kind of always thought it was like above me, but now I feel like I'm in a place with my experience in my career that I'm like, okay, I think I could do that. Anyway, so let's get into it. I kind of pulled out all my MAC eyeshadows. These are all my MAC eyeshadows that are in the round pans that you can pop out. And actually some of these, I'm just kind of showing you, these are like 2 palettes that I use a lot for work. You can see that's very well used, and it's neutral. That's very well used, and it's neutral. These are excellent palettes if you're a makeup kit, because there's a good selection of color, but they're nice and small. So I'm super, super into these. I think they're just so, so awesome. But the ones that I'm really going to play with today are, actually, this is another really great palette. This is like a collection that they came out with. It's the Kabuki Magic. It's so great if you want like a gray smoky eye. I actually really use this more on myself. I'm just going to open it. I'm like holding the microphone with one hand because I'm new at using a microphone. But oh, it's so good. It looks kind of like, but I love a cool smoky gray eye. And then this one is like a little taupey color, so that's really great for the crease. So I'm going to put these aside, and then I'm just showing you these Patrick Star palettes. These are really great palettes. I have a lot of the colors anyway, or colors that are very similar. These, you could depot them, but they're so nice. I don't want to break them. I love the packaging, and sometimes if you've depotted eyeshadows, you probably know what I'm talking about. Sometimes they don't make it, and it's just like a risk that I'm not willing to take with these. So I'm going to put those aside as well. So really what we have to work from today are just a few of these palettes that I kind of put together. And then this is the one that I keep in my kit. And you can see it's pretty much neutrals. I know, like, I don't do like, you know, like crazy editorial stuff. So like the products that I end up using are mostly neutrals. And what I'll also say is that I'm using less MAC than I did when I worked for MAC and when I first started as a makeup artist. I use a lot more like Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palettes. Those actually work really great for the kinds of events that I do because there's a lot of sparkles, but there's a lot of neutrals. So those have kind of taken the place of my MAC eyeshadows. Though I love MAC, I always will love MAC, and I always have. I started with MAC just as like a makeup wearer, and then I always wanted to work for them, and then I finally did, and I don't know, I'm just a big fan of MAC in many ways. This one has a few MAC colors, and it's also got some Viseart or Viseart. I still don't know how to say that. So we'll play with those. And then this is a palette that I had put together, just some like purpley tones that I pretty much used for myself. And then finally, these are kind of like some oddballs. These are some oddball shadows. Great colors, they just like, they didn't make it. They didn't make it into the cut, and I'll use them, but like separately. So I'm gonna probably pull everything out, and then we're gonna like, maybe what we'll do is we'll just put it into one of these, which was kind of like my master palette at one point. This is what I used. I used like this and like the Urban Decay Naked palette, and that was like pretty much all I ever used, and this was full of colors. And then I started to realize, you know, I don't need to bring all this for the kind of work that I do. Like, I'm not gonna say it's boring work because I love doing makeup, and but it's not like, you know, I'm putting like red eyeshadow or, you know, crazy stuff. It's usually very wearable stuff. Sometimes it's way more glam, and sometimes it's way more natural, but like I've been saying 9 times in this video already, it's neutrals, and you only really need a handful of shades to make those looks happen, and then from there it's really the techniques that you use. So I'm gonna go pull them all out, and then we'll go from there. So you guys, this is the first one that I've come up with. Very monochromatic, very summery, very orangey, melony, whatever you want to call it, peachy. But I think it's a pretty summery palette, and I think that you could use it both on the eyes and on the cheeks, especially a deeper skin tone. This middle on the right would be a really nice blush, I believe. And the top left one, Melon, I've definitely used on the cheeks. So we have Melon, we have Orb from left to right. And then we have Red Brick, and then next to that is Coppering, and then down is Saddle, and then one over is Expensive Pink. So this next one, this is gonna be the one that's gonna go back in my kit. You can see some of these colors are really beat up. They've been through drops and traveling and a lot of usage, and that's okay. You know, eyeshadow's not going to stay beautiful the whole time. And you can see some I've even like hit pan on, like the one in the second row. That one is Handwritten. That's a great like deep brown. So that one's going to go back into my kit. Okay, Blanc Type Kid Brule texture, great color for the crease. It's got a little bit of satin, but not like a shimmer, so it works really nicely in the crease. This very, very well loved is Handwritten, Uninterrupted. Then we have Twinx, Woodwinked, Brule, another great crease color. See, I'm popping it out. Then we have this grayish one. It's called Copperplate. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, what color is that? Copperplate's a great brow color for like light brown girls that don't have a lot of red in their brows. It's like a very gray, but it's almost got like a little blonde undertone to it. And sometimes you can mix it with this brown one, which is, we'll get to it next. Then next down we have Smut. Great, like gritty gray black. And then below that we have All That Glitters, and I'm checking it because I'm like, is it Naked Lunch or is it All That Glitters? All That Glitters, which I will take over Naked Lunch any day. Naked Lunch can sometimes get like a little bit greasy. It's really weird. It used to happen when I worked at MAC. That would be the tester that always got glazed over. It just like, it greases up on you for some reason. So I say get all the glitters. It's a little more gold. It's got a little more warmth to it than Naked Lunch, but I found that my Naked Lunch is, I'd like be like, ew, and you'd have to throw it away. You can't like scrub off the top layer. I think it's just got a lot of oil in it is really the case. So now we have black, it's carbon, just a good solid black. Not the blackest black, but I don't need the blackest black. And then we have Embark, and then we have Star Violet. Okay, in this little quad, I've got Bamboo, Swiss Chocolate, it's a nice warm brown, Antiqued, and then this upper right one, it's, I can't remember what it is. It came from, I think one of those like pre-made palettes. It's kind of like a Mylar or a Blanc Type, but it's a nice like brow bone highlight. So we'll leave that one aside for now, and then we've got Woodwinked here, and then we've got, let me just look to my notes, we've got Rice Paper on the upper left. Let me just pull that into view, and then we've got Concrete down here. One across is Omega, nice cool brown. These make a great brow duo. These two, Concrete and Omega together, are like a really nice color for brows, for like brunettes mostly, like medium tone brunettes. Dark brunettes, just the Concrete, and then just the Omega for lighter skins. And then, hopefully I didn't skip one. And then we've got here, let's see, Sumptuous Olive, this like beautiful green one. Oh my gosh, it's really beautiful. I might put this on. I have a client coming today. I might use this on her. I think it would be really beautiful. And then I have Wedge, which is very similar to Omega, but a little bit warmer. So let's just take a look at this palette. I'm doing a voiceover now because it got a little hectic in my house. But going from top left to right, this like nice dark rich color in the top left is brown down. And then you have these sort of like pinky tones. And I'm just gonna kind of move along because I was pretty much figuring those out as I was going along. So you guys, I'm just gonna kind of hold up this palette because I'm realizing that when I went through it, talking through it, and now doing a voiceover, it's like really difficult to like match up what I'm telling you about. So I just kind of made this like really pinky warm tone palette. It's not really a warm tone. It's sort of like cooler, purpley sort of tones. The one in the middle is Sable, that I love that. And what I can do is just list all the colors down below. Oh, I have company. Anyway, the leftovers made it into this palette with some of my Viseart palettes, and we have Tempting on the left, and then I have this deep dark brown, which is actually an excellent color for the outer corner. But these are all the Viseart square ones, and then these are just a few leftover MAC ones. But they're like in really good company, so I don't even feel bad like putting them aside. Anyway, I hope that was fun. I hope that was interesting, maybe inspiring. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.